You are listening to Mining Stock Education, where you'll learn from the top leaders in the natural resource sector and uncover quality mining investment opportunities.
We had an opportunity to really do a full download of our phase 1 drill program at Currabia, and a few things came to light. One is our best targets have not yet been drilled.
Welcome back to Mining Stock Education. I'm your host, Bill Powers, and in today's show, we will be getting an update from Tier 1 Silver. Ivan Bebek, the co-founder and co-chair, joins me, as does Peter Dembicki. He's the president and CEO. And gentlemen, welcome on to the show. And Peter, you just put out a press release discussing the targeting for phase 2 at your Currabia project in Peru. Talk us through some of the key highlights of the 3 target areas that you're discussing in this press release, please.
Thanks, Bill. Always nice to be back. So, we had an opportunity to really do a full download of our phase 1 drill program at Currabia, and a few things came to light. One is our best targets have not yet been drilled. When we set out and did our channel sampling and trenching and rock sampling early last year, this area called Cambaya, which resides just on the northern part of our Currabia project, contained our best hits as far as channel sampling. 20 meters, almost 300 grams per ton silver, like high economic grade bonanza hits as well. And that for sure is going to be our focus as we go forward for a couple different reasons. One thing we've noted that there is a story of erosion on our Currabia property, and as you go north on our property, the elevation increases into the mountains, and that has provided us with a precious metal window that gets larger and larger as you go north. And so to be able to add 300 to 400 meters of precious metal system to our targets, it's going to give us higher grades, better widths, more economic widths, and the options are there for us to make more hits. And secondly, the new permit that will allow us to go up there and attack the Cambaya region allows us to have 10 drill holes per pad, whereas before we only allowed 2. So we had to be very surgical in our first phase over a 20 square kilometer footprint as to where each one of these holes are going. And I'm sure your viewers know the size of a drill bit and into a third dimension. That's a tough place to go. And the fact that we got over 30% of our drill holes were of economic grade and value with a couple bonanza grades to come out of that, these new drill pads and new drill permit will allow us much more flexibility to attack something once we tag it. And so this Cambaya region to the north of Currabia will for sure be a number 1 hit. We have a couple more targets from our traditional area Currabia. But of course, the big story that's really come to the forefront here is every indication of this potential copper porphyry that's driving everything to surface. So, it is truly a really exciting time for us as we prepare for our next drill plan.
So with the precious metals window, as the press release refers to it as, to the north, now you need your DIA permit for this. And I believe last time you said early June is when you're expecting it. Is that still the timetable we're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I like that timetable. You and I both know about setting times and dates and expectations, but yeah. So if everything goes to plan, for sure this spring, we'll have that in hand and be able to get going immediately with that Cambaya as a part of that DIA.
But is all of phase 2 and what you're planning contingent on the DIA, or can you still drill within the FTA permit that you currently have?
Yes, we have, I believe, 3 drill pads still remaining in the current FTA drill permit. So we have multiple targets that we could reallocate in that traditional, and there are targets out and holes that we want to go after in that original FTA permit. So it's not going to slow us down whatsoever as far as commencing work.
So you also outlined bulk tonnage silver target, stratabound, subhorizontal. So would this just be kind of like icing on the cake if this happens to prove something, because you're going after the high grade veins, but you're just pointing out that there could be more here? Is that how I should interpret that?
Yeah, it's more about what are the lengths, the strike lengths of these targets. We're not looking at a real kind of concentrated area at the moment. We have 2 kilometer long strike that we have to go after, 6 kilometers in total of targets to go after of these corridors. So really, to be able to prove that out and to have that many targets within this property, it just again, adds to the potential of the silver targets that are quite close to surface.
In addition to desktop work, Peter, are you needing to do any more studies before you finalize the drill targets for phase 2?
Yeah, we're getting going in April. Again, we had to make that pause for rainy season down in Peru. So getting the workers on the ground ASAP to conduct more structural mapping, geophysics. So we have two things to go after. One, we got to really hone in our targets for our silver targets. And two, as I mentioned, this copper porphyry, we're not going to blindly throw some deep holes in there. We want to really run to ground and solidify these targets with CSMAT mapping and structural testing to make sure that the targets are we eliminate all the risks that we can before testing those deeper holes.
But the focus will be on the precious metals window, but you'll also test the porphyry, I believe, with 2 holes, did the press release say?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to for sure save some meters to go after the porphyry. Once we determine after all this testing the depth, that's going to be a big part of direction and guidance for us. And so, we're going to definitely reserve some meters. However, we split that up over however many holes, still to be determined. But it will be a part of our next drill program.
Let's talk some positive news. Your share price definitely perked up in the last week. Care to comment on that?
Thank goodness. I don't know what to say. It's been tough to see it down where it was, and different from my old past of being an investment advisor. When you're looking at markets that are really shaky and volatile, you truly don't know what's to come the next day. So I didn't have that sitting here as CEO of Tier 1 because I knew what we have. I knew what we have in hand going forward. So I knew it was just about weathering the storm. And whether it was this European crisis that shook it out or got it going, or us just, being that confident with all the data that we have downloaded over the last 2 months and sharing it with our audience, but people are, giving it value again where it deserves to be. And I think that was the catalyst that it needed, because the story to me seems it really does seem unparalleled. The opportunities that we have just at Curbaya alone.
Ivan, I'd like to bring you into the conversation. Your comments on the recent share price action. I know that you've gone on roller coasters. In fact, in our last interview, you talked about some of the roller coasters that you've gone on as CEO of previous discoveries. So it doesn't always go up in a straight line, does it, the share price?
No, and it's really hard to measure why exactly, a share price is going down or up. I think for me and Peter and the team, the technical team is extremely enthusiastic about this next phase. And we came out with a huge opportunity here with all the bonanza grade silver on surface. And it's over 20 kilometers, not in one focused area. So to Peter's point, there could be multiple big discoveries here. And I'll simplify it for everybody listening. I just want to go drill the next hole besides 1.5 meters of 1.2 kilograms of silver. And I want to keep drilling beside that for a while as we go test these better horizons that seem way more conducive for the precious metals, such as at Curbaya. And if I give you an analogy, look at it as a cake, and the icing portion is the actual silver. And then the actual cake portion beneath the icing could be the porphyry. We have the whole thing here, not just a slice of it, not just the edge. We have the entire cake. So size matters and grade matters. And we're not looking to make a silver discovery. We've already made one. We're looking to make a world-class silver discovery. So for me, Bill, the share price was lagging. It was a rough start to the year for all exploration companies. I actually personally agree with Peter. I still think there's a lot more room in our share price to catch up to our speculation, which is a lot stronger than it was a year ago today before we drilled the first holes, because now we actually have, as Peter said, 20-30% of the holes have hit what we could consider economic grade subsurface. So we have bonanza grade over 20 square kilometers. We've started drilling bonanza grade, which I'm using plus kilo to qualify bonanza grade. I know a lot of people want to see continuity. They want to see tonnage. They want to see all of that geometry come together. That's exactly what this program is going to do. And the confidence of it working is really high because, as Peter said, the last hole was the best hole. And there's a few holes that really give us the places to keep going, plus a whole new horizon. So, I'm in that stage, Bill, where I really don't care too much about the share price. Unless I'm trading the stock daily, which I'm not. And when I can add more, I will definitely add more to it. That's how I feel. I'm at the stage which is a little bit more exciting. I'm hearing some predictions for $50 silver this year. And I'm trying to envision, what if we keep drilling that plus kilo over a few meters? What if that keeps going on one of the ore shoots and we find 2 or 3 of those? What if we put together one of the largest, highest grade silver discoveries globally. Just saying that what if is enough. But then you add the porphyry on one of the most prolific belts in the world. And for me, that's where the hair stands up on the back of my neck. And here's why. Porphyries in this part of the world, they can last from 50 to 100 years in production. The kind of projects that are coming across my desktop when we're looking at different things are 10, 11-year mine lives. So when you start talking 50 to 100 years of mine life, that's the kind of scale that we might have on this belt based on the nearby major mines that have been discovered and are currently producing. So everything about Curaçao is getting big. It's very rich in grade, and it's getting big quickly in terms of an opportunity. And this doesn't even take into account what's going on at Hurricane Silver. But the goal with the group was to create a very dominant, aggressive silver exploration company, go take these big swings on the bonanza grade silver and see if we could find roots to it. And right now, Bill, I feel more than ever before, and I know the whole team feels this way, it's so close to keep going. And that's what will make the next drill program way more exciting than the last one, because now we know the third dimension is actually there. We just don't know how big it is yet, which is a perfect problem to have. And it's the kind where you make all the money as a shareholder.
And Ivan, will you be moving forward into phase 2 by yourself or with a corporate partner? Can you comment on that?
You know what? When you start talking porphyry on one of the most prolific belts in the world, the phone rings and emails come in, and there's a handful that have expressed interest for obvious reasons on the silver as well, believe it or not. And, for my advice to Peter and the team is just not yet. Let's find it first, and let's find it first, see how big it is, and then let's open the door for those. So right now, I'd say that we are perfectly inclined to do it ourselves. And you just getting there. And, I'm now going to start counting the days down till the drill turns. And I think a few months out goes pretty quick in this world. And, it's volatile times, but everything is pointing towards metals, gold, silver, copper, nickel, you pick it. Everything's pointing towards the metals market. So everything we're doing is going to be worth more if the market picks up as we think it will. And all the forecasts, Goldman Sachs, all the big banks, all the UBS, all of them are calling for better metals markets. And it's nice to see the global audience catch up to it. And this is pre-recent war events that have happened. So I think inflation is doing its part, supply and demand is doing its part. Now it's more to the hardest question to answer on the page. Where is the world going to get all its silver? Where is it going to get all its copper? And being at the forefront of possibly answering that question in a very big way is exactly what Tier 1's offering right now to shareholders.
Peter, you'll need some gas in the tank in order to fuel phase 2 drilling. Can you talk through the treasury, where we're at in terms of the treasury and financings, please?
Yeah, so we're actually in a great position leading right up to when the drill bit is turning for our program. So nothing needed right now. I mean, the good thing is we're seeing a lot of deals being made in the market, a lot of financing is happening, and a lot of capital has been offered to us in that same token. So we're in a good spot and feel really good about what's to come over the next few months for sure. I mean, Bill, you've seen a lot of fantastic clients on your platform and other stories out there. And, maybe I'll get to ask you a question too, is have you seen, something like an opportunity that Curaçao has right now, this porphyry story on top of, or sitting right below a precious metal system? It truly is, one of a kind. And that's why, we are trying to scream it from the rooftops. That's why we are so excited about this project.
Excellent. The website is tier1silver.com. Trades in Toronto as TSLV, and in the States on the OTC, you can find it under TSLVF. Gentlemen, thank you for this update.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.